This time I suffer a breakdown and investigate a clutch problem. Before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. We've all been there. It's a bright sunny day, everything's going well, a little bit too well, because all of a sudden the blooming bike stops. You're stuck at the side of the road, wondering what the hell just went wrong. All you know is the back wheel is locked solid, but it's not seized. The only way to get the bike to move is to pull the plug out and push it home against compression. Exhausting, as it was over a mile walk. Right, so after today's ride out, we suffered a variator failure of some description or clutch failure. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this panel off, moving the 8mm bolts around the circumference of it, take the panel off and have a look at the transmission underneath. So it's 8mm bolts all the way around. There's one screw as well. Just loosen them off first. All this just got a sort of weird screw thing to undo there. Okay. Try and keep all the screws in the panel. That way. You never know, there could be different lengths. Quite often they're all the same, but you can find that they're different length screws and then bolts. Then you've made life difficult for yourself, trying to work out which goes in which hole. So if you can keep them in place, it's a good idea to do so, it's good practice. There's a bit of encouragement. There we go. Off she comes. That's still caught. There we go. There we go. Looks. The problem is somewhere in the clutch, and the clutch is jammed. There's the variator. Strange. So you can see the basic anatomy of the transmission system. We've got the clutch, which is a centrifugal clutch there. Obviously the belt, which goes to the variator there, which alters your gearing. And then here is your mission box. That's basically transmission, which alters the overall gearing. And just down this end, that's your starter motor. And the belt does not look very good actually. It's got a chip out of it there. It's common fairly with the variator, but actually that looks alright. But generally you should be able to turn this. And the wheel should turn as well. This is jammed, this should be free moving. Right, so little 40mm nut on there. That was very tough to get off, so I've got the rattle gun on it. As you can see, it's now off. If we can get this puller off, get a puller on this maybe. Oh no, there it goes. So that's the outer part of the clutch off. So we're trying to work out what on earth's going on. So that's the inner part of the clutch, that's the inner clutch. And it's like a drum brake basically. These fly outwards, the centrifugal force, engage onto here and transmit energy to the wheel. Right, so that's alright now. That's actually working as it should. So obviously there's some sort of problem with the clutch where a bit of grit got in there. The clutch is then connected to the gears in the mission drive box there and then onto the back wheel. You see it's been on, and that should be free turning just like it is now. But of course, when we came here, when we opened up, it wasn't. It was jammed. I had a look at the bearings. There's no play on those, so it's a bit of a mystery. Probably is just debris. Well, when I tried to reassemble, the problem reoccurred. So it looks like, I mean, look, notice the scarring on this outer nut here. This nut, it started in the middle of the clutch. It started to come undone, and it's winded on. It's wound out a bit, and then it's engaged in the clutch. So when we tighten the clutch down, the outer part of the clutch down, that's biting onto it, and that's what's seizing the clutch up. I noticed the score marks as I was trying to reassemble. So now I've just got to find a very big spanner indeed to put that back together. Right, so the clutch is off completely now. So you can see those are the that's the bearing material, and these are these springs sort of regulate how quickly they fly out, was at what speed they actually fly out, was engage with the outer body of the clutch. So I'm going to do, and hopefully this spring loaded there. I'm going to try and get that back on. That's going to be a bit physical as I expect. Just got to get that back on. Give all this a bit of a clean up as well before I reassemble. Right, so I've got the nut back on. I've also put one of these ratchets. You can see it's looped around that. It's a band ratchet. It's designed for removing oil filters. But I'm going to use it to give me some sort of counter torque while I tighten that up against it. So otherwise it just can't grip it hard enough. Well. So we managed finally to get that nut tightened up. And you can see clutch out is now moving independently of the inner. So just needs to button it back up, and hopefully should be back on the road running normally again. Ooh. And again, it's only a casing, so you don't want to be over tightening things like this. Now they're all done up, just final checked, and there's just a little fellow halter's bracket on here, little messy fella. Hold on. Success. Seems to be working just fine now after our long push home. Well, I hope you found that useful. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe.